It is Thursday night. It's November 9th, 2023. Brand new episode of the Boiler Breakdown podcast streaming live on the Boiler Breakdown YouTube channel, Twitter/X page, and the Facebook page. Give us a like and a follow if you haven't already at Boiler Break Pod. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you're listening on your favorite audio podcast platform, give us a subscribe, a rating, and review. We really appreciate it. I'm Tanner Lee. Full crew tonight. Both co-hosts Evan Webb and Andrew Eiler in the house. Fellas, how we doing?
Not too bad, Tanner. How about you?
Hanging in there.
Hanging in there. I'm glad the basketball team looked awesome Monday nights, and football team has me a little frustrated. To be honest.
Sums it up.
Yeah, but I don't know. I had low expectations for the Michigan game, so I wasn't too upset.
Yeah.
I guess it's the defense isn't making me upset. It's the offense.
Yeah.
But maybe I need
to.
Yeah. We'll get into it. Maybe I just need to lower my expectations at the offense. I mean, we're 9 games into it. I don't think much is going to change the last 3 weeks.
Yeah,
but
kind of is what it is. Yeah. I'm dealing with a patchwork offensive line.
And I think Coach Walters hit on that in his radio show, because I was one of the people. I'm like, why aren't we moving the pocket? Why aren't we getting Hudson out, cutting the field in half? Pretty much saying we're doing what we can with the personnel we got. So,
yeah.
Is this the worst it's been? Because there were some bad times with the offensive line under Hazel. And then with Brom's first few years, it was piecemeal, and it seemed to be getting better. And then this year, it seemed like it should have been okay, but it's just like all of them are hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking with one of our Purdue buddies today, and of course, I don't think there's ever been a more injury-ridden season than 2019. I think we can all agree with that because it was like everybody was out.
You usually had like a walk-on center, quarterback, and running back.
Well, Aiden was what, 4th string to start the year that year,
yeah.
or 3rd string at least.
Yeah, that's right.
But and then other than that, 2010 was pretty bad because that's when Bolden, Marv, Keith Smith, Justin Siller all went down.
Yeah,
you're playing with just freshmen that weren't ready. But besides those 2 years, this year is probably right up there because I mean we haven't had a ton of key players, but there's been a couple starters, particularly the offensive line has been in shambles.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's frustrating, but yet. I'm trying to give the staff a benefit of the doubt, but when your defense is at least to the naked eye improving week after week, and the offense is going backwards, it's pretty frustrating.
Yeah,
defense has stayed moderately healthy, as far as I can tell. I mean, like the big guy. I mean,
OC brothers, Marquise Wilson, both out. But besides that.
Yeah,
a few reserves, but not starter-wise, not too many.
The Samford corner that's never played.
He's never played. Yeah. He reminds me of the Kansas State guy last year.
Yeah,
just unfortunately gets hurt and can't recover. But at the same time, I like that these younger guys like Rogers is getting experience because it's just going to help him and Purdue in the long run. But going through some growing pains for sure.
And even the other corner, the JUCO Boistros. Alessandro or something like that. I think he's got 3 or 4 years of eligibility. I don't think he was expected to play or really do much, and he's played a lot, especially on special teams. So he's played a lot too.
That's a good point. So yeah, there's definitely things to be frustrated about. I mean, let's look at the box score and recap the game from Saturday a little bit, which was a trip to the Big House, a place that's never been kind to Purdue in their history. 41-13 was the final score. Of course, Michigan won the game. But I thought Purdue hung in there for the most part, particularly in the second and third quarter. I mean, Purdue was outscored 17-0 in the first quarter, but then actually outscored Michigan 6-3 in the second quarter. Got outscored by Michigan third quarter 7-0, and then the fourth 14-7. But
so my spicy take was wrong, but kind of right. We were against this.
we were in the game.
Yeah.
We were in the game.
I mean, and Purdue had the momentum kind of at halftime, and they were down by 10 or something, but 14, 2 touchdowns. But they had just had some big stops, and they kicked the field goal right before half, right?
Yep. It was nice to see Frio hit 2 field goals. It's nice to see him back healthy. I guess I didn't know what he's battling, and it turned out to be blood clots.
Yeah, they did.
which
They kept
is
that. They never said
scary.
that. Yeah.
pretty intense stuff. But no, I thought Purdue hung in there well. I mean, this was the best defense they played all year. I mean, Purdue scored 13 points. That's as many points as anybody scored against Michigan this year, which is pretty insane. 9 games into the season. I mean, McCarthy's the
Well, it
most
was also
talented.
it was like the latest their starters had played on defense, like the latest into the game they played.
Well, when you don't know what the offense is going to run, it makes it a little more tough. But McCarthy, he's a good player, probably best quarterback we've played all year. But I thought we rattled him a little bit, at least made him uncomfortable.
Second and third quarter for sure.
Yeah, Scorton and Jenkins, man, those two guys are beasts. They lead the Big Ten in sacks with 7 each. And I know they're talented players. They were good last year too, but you can't tell me the defensive coaching hasn't played a role in their improvement. So
I think it's in the scheme too. I mean,
Yeah.
putting them in positions to succeed. Yeah.
Yep. So you got to keep them. I mean, Scorton's a sophomore. Jenkins is a senior, but I believe, unless I'm mistaken, he has a COVID year eligibility he can use if he wants to.
Could he go to the NFL?
It looks like he's projected right now a pretty late round pick.
Gordon's a true sophomore, so he's not draft eligible.
Correct. But what worries me more about him is
NIL,
which of course, Coach Ryan Walters brought the NIL on his radio show this week, and it's kind of alarming comments because when he was hired, he said Purdue was competitive with NIL and everything, and now this week he said if the Big Ten is tiered, Purdue would be in the bottom tier, if not last.
I mean,
that's concerning.
I mean, it could change pretty quickly. I'm not faulting for what he said.
Right. I think there's a lot of people that are like, why would he come out and say that? Why would he say that about the tough schedule next year?
Because it's true.
Yeah, he's being real. And I mean, Purdue needs some big, heavy donors. Yeah. I mean, I would not consider us 3 heavy donors because we just can't. We can't be. We can't be. I give my $25 to the job Purdue.
we need the Mark Cuban for Purdue.
No kidding.
So, yeah, I think that's the problem that Purdue has is, I mean, the donor base is vast and very large, but I feel like your probably wealthiest donors are giving to the school, which, I mean, by all accounts is probably the right thing to do. I mean, but I'd probably do the same thing in the same position if I was in the same position. But like, I feel like we don't have like you said, Andrew, the Mark Cuban, who's a billionaire who happens to also just was a diehard, sports fan. Which I mean, like, hopefully, I mean, I get like with the way the Purdue's having success, football and basketball, like hopefully that future donor is maybe either in school or a recent grad that hopefully will hit big and then can give a ton of money to the collective.
Exactly.
But
and
I know the big question comes up is like also like the John Purdue Club. It's like, obviously the big thing is the new TV contract and how much money that's going to give to athletic departments. Like, what? Like, I don't know if they've come out and said like what that money's going to be used for compared to like what I think the John Purdue Club, their big thing is they use that for scholarships. I suppose, like, can you divert some of that money to NIL? I mean, keep the TV money for that kind of stuff, and then obviously facility upgrades and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like some of those John Purdue donations could go towards something else.
Well, and the largest donation towards athletics in the history of school just happened within the past year, but it was to golf, which is great. I mean, I think Andrew and it's great because they're getting a new clubhouse and really has state-of-the-art facilities for a northern university.
But to be fair, the clubhouse was fine. Like
it was. And now it's going to be real pristine. But I mean, that was what, $18-20 million or something. Football and basketball haven't had those types of donors.
Well, I mean, they did for the stadium. I mean, how much did Breeze give for the Tiller?
But that was, that was a series of that was a series of,
So basically, I think Coach Walters was just saying, they're going to ramp up their fundraising efforts because they have to.
Well, I wonder, like, if, like they announced the men's basketball fantasy camp or whatever they want to call, whatever they're calling it. Yep. Like if you're 35 and older, it's like, I think if you're a John Purdue Club member, it's $5,000. And if you're non-Purdue, it's $5,500, which is a pretty steep price tag. But If I could, I would. Thankfully, we don't hit the age mark just yet.
I pitched it to my dad tonight, and he goes, "I struggled in father-son camp in my 40s. I can't do it when I'm 63."
But I wonder something like that. I wonder if something like that's going towards like NIL or anything like that.
Yeah,
But
it's just
I
such
know
a unique
Purdue.
time.
I know that's a big benefit of having like the university sponsored NIL, but what stops Nick Gordon from going to the Bob Rohrman car dealership or whatever and just saying like, "Hey, let me do a commercial and pay me $1 million."
Mhm.
George Karlaftis had a commercial with him.
Exactly. I mean, like, I think like it helps clearly if the university has that infrastructure in place, but nothing's stopping Hudson Card and Canes or whatever.
I
I guess
know
that's the downside of being in West Lafayette and not
well,
Indianapolis.
yeah,
or
I know of
big city, I guess.
I know of a few other bank marketers in the marketing world that I'm in, and some of their financial institutions do NIL deals. One does deal with Indiana men's basketball. Another one just started a deal with a Notre Dame men's hockey goalie. And so I was asking them questions this last month, picking their brain a little bit. I just wanted to see how it worked. And according to both of them, the university there's a employee at the university, but they don't work for the university, which makes me think they work with the NCAA or something, or maybe it's they work for a legal institution. I don't know, but they handle all the transactions and the arrangements and the communication between the businesses and the athletes.
Okay, so that's probably the university to make sure that everything is
correct. It's like a compliance type thing,
Yeah.
but yet they don't work for the university. It's really odd. And
Probably
then
like it's probably a contractor for like the players basically to make sure the players don't screw up,
right?
And mess up their eligibility.
And basically,
like an agent. It's basically an agent, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, like with the hockey goalie for Notre Dame, on their TV commercial underneath, like his when he pops up, they can say his name and like University of Notre Dame hockey goalie. That's the only time they can mention Notre Dame. He can't be wearing anything with Notre Dame logo on it. He can wear his helmet, but like his jersey, they had the bank logo and everything on the jersey.
Yeah.
Just say because lawyer just got a deal with a law firm, and in the promo pic, he's wearing a jersey number 2, but like where it would say Purdue was completely like it was gone. Like there's which you've seen that for pro athletes. Forever because it's you see like go drive through Chicago, you see Brian Urlacher. Yeah, it's trademark. You see Brian Urlacher in a 54, blue and white, blue and orange jersey, but
everybody knows what it is.
Yeah, there's no Chicago C on it.
Yep. So it's interesting. I mean, I know some Purdue players do have those arrangements, but I'd love to see them get more. Of course.
I mean, who's your first player you signed, Tanner, with the bank? Who are you going to go for? I mean, can you afford Hudson Card? I don't think so.
No, I honestly got Andrew. I was just thinking about this the other day. I had a ad ready because with the bank I work with has a 1 in it, and Hudson wears 1, and there's a lot, and his last name's Card. But I don't think I can. I don't think I can afford him. So.
I don't think so either.
I'm not going to say the name. I'm not going to say the name of your employer, but like Caleb First. Are you kidding me?
Oh, that too. That too.
We just talked about how the football team needs the NIL money. The basketball team's fine. They're doing
true.
Fine.
But I want to so bad, but I think literally my budget would be gone for the whole year. With maybe not, but it's fun to think about. But I am all for the NIL. I do think some schools don't do it correctly, but if used correctly, I think it's great. Going back to the game on Saturday, looking at some of the numbers. No, we really don't. We can skim over it pretty quick.
Let's go to basketball.
Hudson Card was 12 for 28, 144 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Running the ball, Tyrone Tracy, 11 carries for 61 yards. Mockbee, 13 carries for 38 yards. Hudson, 5 for 26. Receiving, not a whole lot there. Deion Burks, 3 catches, 43 yards and a touchdown. Mershawn Rice, 1 catch, 43 yards. Unfortunately, got hurt, done for his career. Talk about a guy who just could never stay healthy in 5 years at Purdue.
Done for his career. I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
That's surprising, but.
Yeah, Walker said he's done. So, and he's a 5th-year senior, so only 3 games.
Has he been at Purdue for 5 years?
Yeah. Yeah. Cameron Day here on Facebook. How many blown assignments will Cam Allen allow this week? Over or under 6.5? Well, if he's guarding the tight end, we're in trouble because Minnesota has one of the better tight ends in the country. He is their focal point of their offense.
Minnesota's quarterback sucks, doesn't he?
Their offense isn't good. Their defense is
Yeah.
good, but they got a good tight end.
Their quarterback's bad.
But yeah, Jaden Dixonville, 4 receptions for 32 yards. Tyron Tracy, 2 for 13. Miller, 1 for 9. Mockby, 1 for 4. Purdue did force a fumble defense and recovered it. Well, actually, it was a punt return fumble. No, it wasn't forced, I guess. Other than that, not a lot. I mean, McCarthy threw for 335 yards, no touchdowns. Blake Corum had 15 carries, 44 yards, 3 touchdowns, but all of them, I mean, his longest run was 9 yards. Their longest run was a receiver reverse.
Oh yeah,
Morgan took it.
Touchdown, right?
one for 44 yards and a touchdown. And then Edwards had 8 carries, 21 yards and touchdown. So Purdue held him in check, rushing 110 yards on the 34 carries.
You were talking about J.J. McCarthy being how talented he was. It seemed like Purdue handled, and maybe it was more in the second and third quarter. I was traveling. I missed the first quarter, and it was 17-0 when I turned it on. But then it was good. But it seemed like he always made a play on like 3rd and 9.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did. He's so patient in the pocket too, whereas last year I don't think he had that patience. Yeah, he's good. He's real good. I don't know how that's gonna translate to the next level, but
Is this gonna hurt his Heisman with all the stuff going on with Harbaugh?
it's really interesting because I would say the only person you can really compare it to is Johnny Manziel.
Mm-hmm. Which with Johnny though, it was his own doing. Where this is like,
Correct.
You know.
Honestly, what I want to see the Big Ten do, I still don't think they will. But what I want to see them do, assuming everything that we read is factual and incorrect, and Michigan did this and knew it was going on, I think Harbaugh should be suspended the rest of the year, including the playoff. But Michigan should still be allowed to make the playoff. But that's also
you don't want Purdue to win the Big Ten last year, have them forfeit.
It's just like Reggie Bush not having the Heisman. I mean,
then we could be like IU and say we got snubbed to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think the Michigan kids, assuming they didn't know what was going on, that's not fair to them to punish them. But I definitely think Harbaugh should get some punishment. But we'll see. I think the Big Ten is a tough spot because they don't want to piss Michigan off. Because with everybody leaving conferences and stuff, you don't want to piss Michigan off. That's one, along with Ohio State's your 2 kind of baby programs as far as
USC can step right in and Oregon. Yeah.
But at the same time, if you don't do anything, you're gonna have 13 head coaches pissed off at you. Because everybody's pissed about this. So even Brett Bielema today, in which I don't agree with a lot of things he said, but I like what he said today. So
I mean, you had the Oakland basketball coach making kind of poking fun of Michigan, in his post-game press conference against Ohio State. Yeah.
I mean, you hear everybody talk about, well, everybody steals signs. There's a legal way to do it. You literally just try to figure out, or coaches talk in every sport. I don't care. You got your friends and everything. Everybody kind of picks each other's brain, especially outside the conference.
Especially when you're kind of a jerk like Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like, what does Painter say every time as soon as the tournament starts? It's like, what do? Your first opponent, you call like a colleague you have in that conference to get tape or to get any sort of insight like that. That's fine. But it's when you got guys like literally buying tickets or paying people to go sit on the sideline and videotape with their cell phone.
It's like literally off campus recording. That is cheating because then you can put that on screen, replay it.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, that's just messed up.
Well, then that stupid article that came out.
And they don't need to do it. They have the talent. They don't need to do it. But I think Harbaugh's feeling the pressure going into after 2020 and said, I need to do something. And the manifesto started. But looking at the matchup going forward on Saturday, Purdue's 2-7 now. I titled this "No Bowl for Purdue," but
Jerry Palm disagrees with you.
Jerry Palm, Purdue alum, who works for CBS Sports, he has Purdue in the whatever the hell the bowl is now. It's had 500 names against Eastern Michigan at a 5-7 record because Purdue has the APR, ARP?
Yeah.
Academics, right?
Academic part is strong enough.
Lord knows what would have happened to Braum, that's for sure.
If there's not enough 6-win teams, Purdue might get called into it. which would be great.
That's
for younger
assuming
players.
Purdue wins
5
that.
games.
Wins 5 games. Wins the
Will
next 3.
Purdue have 5 offensive linemen
Well, that's a good
by
point.
the bucket game?
I mean, Ben Farrell was playing against St. Francis last year. Now he played at the Big House on Saturday. But Purdue is welcoming PJ Fleck, and his Golden Gophers are 5-4, coming off a bad home loss to Illinois. The way it went down for them. All-time series is interesting here. Minnesota actually leads the series. Purdue has a 34-41-3 record against Minnesota. On the road, which this one's not in Minneapolis, Purdue's 13-33-3, but at home, Purdue's 21-8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Purdue
it
is on a
like-
1-game winning streak.
It'd take forever for us to win at their new stadium, like when they built that.
Last year was the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got built in 2009, and last year
It
won
was
20-10.
2014. It was close. I remember watching that as a student.
Yes, 39-38 loss.
Yeah,
2014.
it was like, okay, we got something going here.
Yes, it has been an interesting series. I mean, the Miracle in the Metrodome in 2001, 35-28, which Purdue was down big late, came back and won that game. I remember the double overtime heartbreaker in 05, 42-35. That kind of spiraled that team into the season that was a 5-7, because that team was highly ranked going into that week. A few other games of note.
2017 was the delay.
Yes, 31-17 capped off with the Jawan Bentley pick 6.
Mhm.
2018 was arguably the worst game of the Jeff Brom era, 41-10 loss in the frigid snow, and the Louisville rumors were on fire, and it just was not a fun time.
Was that the first game since the Louisville rumor came out? Okay, yeah, I remember that. Yep.
And then it was Wisconsin, and then it was Indiana.
Yeah.
2019 was the game. Sindelar and Moore both got hurt on the same play.
Yep.
Purdue almost came back to win that one, lost 38-31. 2020 was the most bullshit offensive pass interference play I've ever seen. Lost
Yeah.
The only time I ever
34-31.
left my place of residence to walk off a loss for football.
Oh my God.
No, for football, I was hot.
I believe my in-laws were staying with us, and they had gone up to bed like 5 minutes before that. I think I just turned the TV off and sat on my living room floor for like a half hour in silence. That's what it was.
Well, that season, everything was just so weird in the world, and
Yeah.
it's like literally all we had to look forward to.
Yeah.
And I had seen my dad yell at a football game at a referee like that in a long time.
Yeah.
Long time. And then 2021 lost 20-13 at home. I don't remember much about that game for some reason.
I don't either.
Oh, I know, because I wasn't there. It was the rainy game. We just talked about this a few weeks ago, Evan.
Oh, yeah, we
wasn't
did.
there. The gold jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
And then we won last year 20-10 up in Minnesota. So very interesting series nonetheless. I can't stand PJ Fleck, but he has had Purdue's number.
Seems like his shtick has kind of run out. It doesn't seem like he's the darling, and no one's really. I don't really hear much about him anymore, but I'm sure on Saturday watching the game, he'll be on the sidelines. It'll be like Tom Allen. It'll be like, gosh, this guy's the worst.
It's 3:30 NBC game, so nationally televised game for the Boilers, and I believe a good attendance is expected. I think there was 2,000 tickets remaining as of earlier this week, which is not bad when your team's only won 2 games. I don't think.
It's pretty. It's kind
of surprising.
Yeah, and the weather's supposed to be decent for a almost mid-November game.
November.
It's Military Appreciation Day because it's Veterans Day.
Veterans
Saturday.
Day.
So, but
Will
yeah,
Purdue,
looking at
will Purdue have any special unions? You think? Have you had like the American flag ones?
that would be cool. They've definitely done stuff
they
like
did,
that in the past.
2 years ago when we beat Michigan State, they had the camo P on the side. I think that was I assume that was for military appreciation.
Yeah, because that was just this week. Yeah, a few years ago.
Yeah.
A few years ago.
Yeah.
So, looking at Minnesota's numbers, I cannot pronounce their quarterback's last name. I'm not even going to try. It's really long, and I'm bad at pronunciations anyways. But Athan's his first name. He's completed 111 passes on 205 attempts for 1,290 yards, 10 touchdowns, 7 picks. He's been sacked 16 times. Darius Taylor leads them in rushing, 103 carries for 591 yards and 4 touchdowns. Daniel Jackson leads them as a wide receiver, 38 receptions, 562 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Even though Braven Samford is one of the best tight ends in the country. His numbers, he only got 18 receptions for 167 yards and one touchdown, but I think he's been injured a little bit. And on defense, I'm trying to see how many interceptions they have on the year. Looks like, wow, Tyler Newman has 4 himself. It looks like 11 interceptions on the year for them. And sacks, they have 15, 16, about 20 sacks, it looks like, on the year. So their defense can definitely get after it a little bit. So, but I think Purdue is a 1-point favorite. They started as a 1-point dog, so it's flipped probably just because of home field advantage. So it's pretty much a toss-up game. Where do you think Purdue's mindset is as a team going into this week?
I don't know. I hope almost like a sense of excitement because you're through the gauntlet that is, Ohio State and Michigan within the span of 4 weeks, well, whatever it was. Obviously 3 very winnable games. Maybe that talk of, hey, potentially this team could make a bowl, keeps them on it. It seemed like this coaching staff, even though even when we were 2-6 and going to Michigan, it was like, oh God, obviously chances of making a bowl are pretty much at 0 now, but it still feel like they, the coaches kept the team in it and they were playing hard. So hopefully that continues. It seems like they've got, they haven't lost the players, which is good. It's kind of what I'm looking to see over the next 3 games is if things go really south, do they keep playing hard, which is really all you can really ask for when the team's beaten up this bad.
Right.
Yeah. Plus, I would say still a lot of young guys that are playing a lot with a new staff. So they still kind of have to prove and kind of earn their spot for next year. So hopefully a lot of those guys are getting good experience and they're getting better and playing hard. But so I don't know. I'm with you, Webby. Hopefully the coaches, it's a very young staff. How they keep them focused when, technically they can't win 6 games, but I guess not totally eliminated from a bowl. But
and if you win the last 3 somehow, I feel like you get some momentum going into the offseason and maybe raise the positivity of the fan base up a little bit. That is just so negative right now. It's almost hard to talk Purdue football with anybody. We're pretty much outside this podcast and a few others. There's some I just cannot have a positive conversation with right now. Some of my friends,
that's just because the offense,
especially ones online,
bad, yeah.
It is hard to watch, especially with what we've been used to the last 6 years with good offense and a bad defense, and now I think it's kind of starting to flip. But man, the Matt Painter haters have been nicknamed the Ainers online. I feel like we got to have something for the Walters haters already because some guys just aren't giving this guy a break. 9 games.
Called morons, what they're called.
Man, it takes all I have not to reply to some of them. But I'm like, no, I don't need to get in a fight online. This is ridiculous.
Someone posted. Let me go find it on Knucklehead. It just shows people's inability to remember history. Because this guy quoted how it's not nearly as bad as it used to be. He said, this guy Knucklehead posted that he posted on Facebook 10 years ago, so 2013, so first year of Hazel. Said that his Boilermakers just ran an offensive play in the red zone for the first time since September.
Oh my gosh! Oh yeah. I was thinking about that a little bit Saturday because, yes, it is very painful right now to watch this offense. Don't get me wrong, but I do go back to 2013 especially and
so
remember how bad it was.
Yeah.
It was really bad. It's – so I think better days are ahead. It is only going to get tougher with the Big Ten expansion and the schedules, but it is what it is. You can't do anything about it. So
well, then people were giving him crap for bringing up the schedule next year, along with the NIL. It's all building up excuses. It's the truth. Have you seen the schedule next year? It sucks. It's gonna suck forever now because the schedule also too. They're the non-con. It's we should cancel the Oregon State. Which who knows? Oregon State's good this year, but who knows what they're gonna look like next year?
I hate that mentality. You don't cancel a game.
Yeah, it's
if you go out there and get a win, that's a big win.
Right.
It's a dumb mindset. And it's no, I get the argument, we need to play more of a cupcake schedule. If our schedule's going to be so tough, try to get 3 wins halfway to bowl. I get that.
You can't beat Oregon State. You're not going to beat Oregon. You're not going to beat UCLA. You're not going to beat USC. Yeah.
Correct. And the
I mean, you're not going to beat like Minnesota.
Right.
The head coach probably doesn't have a lot to say as far as it's totally different scheduling than basketball.
Yeah.
The non-conference schedule football makes so far in advance.
Don't we have Ole Miss on the schedule in like 6 years or something like
2029,
that?
2030 or something like that.
Some of those home and homes are nuts.
Yeah,
they're like 12 years apart. Yes. They're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, don't they have a TCU where they finish that one up?
Nope, they still go there in like 2030.
Yeah.
It's in this Oregon State one's a home and home from 2021.
2021, yeah.
Started the year against them, and then I mean, it's what it is. So I just wish the family. I get it. None of us want to be 2-7 right now. It is disappointing when you won the Big Ten West last year, but with the transfer portal and the way college sports are, you never know what your team's going to look year to year for the most part. So just try to remain positive and cheer on the guys. They're trying their hardest and go from there. So
the one thing I'll say that was a little concerning was the 4-star linebacker, defensive end, or I'm not sure what position he was, who decommitted this week.
Yes.
That was a little concerning. I didn't know if there was. I don't know. I don't know. I don't honestly remember where he was from or really who else was recruiting him to know if there was NIL involved, if he was coming from Florida or Texas or whatever. Unlikely. But,
right.
I think he was Ohio for some reason. But
that
was one thing that got me a little concerned because then if there's not any excitement still, if we've lost that momentum already from such the young staff and.
Yeah, they got their work cut out for them, with the way the season's gone. But I think that's what their strength's going to be is recruiting, making Purdue look cool. So we'll see what they can do. And I know everybody was freaking out looking back now at the transfer portal for Purdue last year, how many guys they lost. I'm like, yeah, well, they had a coaching change. Not going to have a coaching change this year, so we shouldn't see as many guys leave, I wouldn't think.
Unless they're getting replaced. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And there's also even there's a lot of guys for regardless, or if Brom stayed, they were going to transfer too. So
right.
Who knows if that? Who knows how many of those guys actually stayed?
And only one, Eric Miller's only one followed Brom, right?
And Brady Allen.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
After
Plummer, but
he would have been nice to have as a backup this year, to be honest. But he lost the position battle. So because it would have been nice to have Holstitch and Miller Arizona State. So, but
did Brady go through spring and then transfer?
Yes,
because he
entered, pulled out. Yep.
And then
went through spring and re-entered.
I believe he's their third string down there.
I thought it was worse than that. I thought it was fourth.
Yeah, I could be mistaken. Which I see Louisville is up
14-0.
Yeah, 14-0 against Virginia. So that's fun. So. Before we get into predicting some Big Ten games and ultimately the Purdue-Minnesota game and then talking some basketball, spicy bowl prediction for Saturday's game.
PJ Fleck won't make himself look like a jackass. I'm kidding. That's impossible. Hudson throws 3 touchdowns.
I said that like a month ago when the last time I was on the podcast, and it didn't turn out so hot.
Hudson throws 3 touchdowns, we're winning the game. So
yeah, it's a spicy take right now because it has not happened.
Nick Gordon scores a touchdown.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. Okay, what can I? Free Hill hits his longest field goal of the season. I don't know what his long is right now, to be honest. Let me look it up here. That might not be too spicy, but
who makes more field goals, you or the student they pull out of the stands?
Hey, that student last game was a stud. It seems like forever ago.
I know.
Let's see stats. He has got one, and he's 1 for 2 from 40 to 49, long of 43. There it is.
So he's at least making a 44-yarder Saturday. Boom, boom. Cool. All right. Well, let's go ahead and shift gears and talk a little basketball. I know Andrew's got a time deadline, so I want to make sure we can talk some basketball before he's got to leave. Boilers start off on the right foot Monday night with a very convincing win over the Samford Bulldogs, 98-45. They were up 51-17 at half. They outscored the Bulldogs 47-28 in the second half, and they were led in scoring by none other than the reigning National Player of the Year, Zach Edey, who had 16 points in 20 minutes of play. Webby, you got the privilege to be there for the season opener. How was the environment, and how did the team look live in person to you?
Environment was awesome. Obviously, you guys got to see the kind of the pregame on TV, which is pretty cool. I know they've done that, but I'm glad they do that, especially for the first game. But yeah, they got the two newly minted Big Ten championship banners, one for the tournament, one for the regular season. Was awesome. Yeah, the place was electric. New This Is Mackey video, which I thought was really cool. They've kind of revamped it a little bit, add some new footage. I don't think Big Dog was in the last one, was he? Because he's in this one. I don't think he was, but they definitely added some new stuff, which is awesome. They added a part about there's 3 National Player of the Year winners between Wood and.
Does Gene still do the Big Ten championship number?
Oh yeah,
25. Yeah, because I heard that on.
Well, they did that last year, the last game of the season. They had that.
Really?
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
Yeah, because there was a whole thing of like change it for the video, and they had already filmed him doing that, so they included that. So that was pretty cool.
Do you think they've already filmed him with 26? Just
I'm sure they've got through like 35.
He lives in West Lafayette now. He moved from Myrtle Beach, so you could probably just call him over.
It would be kind of interesting if it's like whenever he does pass away, and then if he still does it, and it's like that would be pretty funny.
No, the environment was awesome, especially when it was pretty apparent that what's the 5'7" point guard from San and the tip, which I'm so glad they did that. That was cool. And then, you couldn't ask for a better start with getting Lawyer for an open 3 and nailing it, and the place just erupted. They kept going because they added a new opposing team misses 2 free throws.
Yeah. That happened like 3 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it was the first free throws of the game. Yeah, they do that in a football game too. I think you have to miss. I think the opposing team misses a field goal. I can't remember what it was, Tanner. They say it every game. I misheard it one time. I thought it was something stupid.
I just remember the IHOP for the interceptions, which I think had like
maybe that's what it was. Yeah, but they do like if the opposing team misses their 2 free throws in one opportunity,
consecutive
free throws, the whole arena gets a free chicken sandwich from Slim Chickens, which is based in Lafayette and Indy. I think that's what they said to Indy and Lafayette. And so the place was. I knew what was going on, and people around me some people around me knew what was going on, but there were some people who were around what is happening because the place was going absolutely, especially when you missed the first free throw. Steve chain chicken, that was awesome.
We went to the Butler Marquette game, and Marquette had something similar. I don't know what it was, but it was they missed 2. Everybody got something.
Which is awesome.
Everybody went absolutely nuts whenever
it's like
first free throw. Yeah.
I think I was listening to a podcast today, another Purdue podcast, and I think they said that Robin on the broadcast, I don't know why they're going crazy, but I'm assuming if he misses this, they're going to get something because the place was going nuts. I got to sit next to Trey Kaufman Wren's grandparents, lovely people. I was actually sitting in one of their seats, awesome people. But yeah, it was. Mackey was awesome. The team. Well, I was really encouraged by that. I don't know if it was just because the first game, or maybe there a lot of pent up.
They looked pissed off.
They looked really pissed off, and I really, really liked it.
I was listening to Robbie Hummel and Jeff Goodman's podcast today, which Goodman's not one of my favorites, but I like Robbie, of course. So I listen to it. Goodman's very smart when it comes to basketball, but whatever. This with his daughter going to Indiana, he was wearing an Indiana shirt today, and I'm just like, God. Even though they ripped them pretty good today. But anyways, Robbie was talking about how he thought, even though it was brilliant social media marketing, don't get me wrong, by Samford with the little guy with the tip, He thought that rubbed Purdue the wrong way. And Purdue was
100%.
pissed
Yeah.
off about it from the beginning, especially with how last year they lost
Yeah.
to the little school in Fairleigh Dickinson, and Purdue just used that as fuel right away and punched them
Yeah,
out.
the first time I saw it when they released the first video, my first thought was this is FDU all over again. Like social media gimmick, like which going back, like probably because we beat them so badly, but like the Samford coach, I love him. Like what he said after the game was really cool about how he's been trying to get SEC teams or ACC teams to play, and no one will, and he loves that Painter sticks up for the mid majors, which is awesome. So I'm definitely pulling for them the rest of the way. I mean, they were a hard nosed team. They were like they loved getting into pressing the team. I think they press. I think they're one of the most pressing teams in the country. They were chippy, which I was really glad to see. Like Lance Jones not back down to that.
Glad he didn't punch anybody.
I know, and then that was like 5 minutes of the game too, and I was like, and they were kind of going after Edey. I'm like, oh my gosh, like they took that video wasn't so much of a joke. Like they really are gonna like
so
back down.
But I love watching it just seemed like the team was just was taking them seriously and was just like, all right, I feel like last year we saw a lot of Purdue went from gotta hope to make the tournament to all of a sudden top 5 team, and it was just like, oh boy, like
in like 6 weeks.
In 6 weeks, and it was like we went from the hunted to the hunter to the hunted. I'm not sure the team knew how to adjust to being the hunted, and it was kind of like you go into a place like Assembly Hall or some of these other awesome Big Ten places, Breslin Center or Maryland. It was Northwestern, where the whole place is going absolutely nuts against you, and the team definitely didn't feel like rise up to the challenge. And this felt like Purdue being like, okay, we're the shit, and we're going to show you. And that was probably my favorite part of the whole game, was just how the team just played like, we know who we are. We know who you are, Samford. We're going to put you in your place, so that you don't even have a chance to come back in this game. Because it was like, it went from my wife was watching. She always, when I'm at the games, to monitor my mood, even though I'm fine. But she it was like 5 minutes and she goes, "This game's boring." I'm like, "No, it's great."
You're worse than Indiana games, Webby.
I am, yeah.
You are actually,
yeah. No,
which I respect.
Yeah, it was great. Love seeing guys hit threes. Again, it was Samford, and in first game of the year, which we obviously played really well last. Hopefully, they keep that edge. I love seeing guys hit open threes. The fact that we were blowing them out and Edey had 7 points, going into halftime, was awesome.
I was a little worried that he wasn't going to hit his how many straight double-digit games.
Same.
I was like, is he going to play enough? Because they didn't really get him the ball.
He only shot 6 times, made 5 or 6 from the field.
But in the first half, it only took 1 or 2.
6 for 10 from the foul line. The next closest guy to shoot was actually the walk-on. King shot 4 free throws.
Yeah, towards the end. Yeah.
Yep.
Love seeing the press break. Lance Jones again is a good godsend for that standpoint, because he just gets the ball and goes. He's big body guard, so he can kind of get through some of that stuff. I thought Ethan Morton did really well as a ball handler. Stepped into the 3, nailed it, was awesome. TKR hit a 3, was awesome.
Camden Hyde, man. Woo.
Yeah, Camden Hyde, he's got a great looking shot. He's aggressive getting to the rim. If he can figure out defense, he'll play a lot of minutes. I love Colvin's fearlessness, even as a freshman. Just kind of young and dumb, not actually saying he is dumb, but just doesn't have a conscience, just goes in there and he knows he's good, and he is good, and he's got a good looking shot. There'll be games where he goes 0 for 5 and it's going to be pulling our hairs out, but there'll be times where he comes in and when the team's probably stalled a little bit and comes in and just, nails a couple and does something he could block at the end. Had he completed that alley-oop to start, I'm not sure there'd have been a louder eruption outside of maybe Edey hitting a 3, because Smith threw that, because I saw the replay. I didn't realize how far he threw that pass. He was barely over half court when he threw that pass, and it was right on the money. But man, yeah, that could be really fun. I liked how much we pushed the ball, because that's that was always something I heard last year from opposing fans, was we're going to run Edey out of the gym. It's ran with Gonzaga, ran with Duke, ran with West Virginia. We ran with Illinois when they came to Mackey. You'd be surprised. He's
an athlete.
He's not Isaac Haas. So yeah.
No, he's very coordinated for his.
He had that play where he caught the ball at the free throw line
He jumped from the Big Ten logo.
Took one step and
Yeah.
it's like, how do you don't guard? Like I look at my dad's like, how do you guard that? You can't. Like if he completes that, he's gonna put somebody in a body bag.
Yep.
I cannot wait.
I was really encouraged by the sophomore shooting. Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer combined
Mhm.
8 for 11 from behind the arc, and they were 8 for 14 from the field. That's going to work every single night. Both had 12 points. And they combined for 4 turnovers, but that's not awful. And also a guy I like, just looking at the box score, Brian Waddell only played 9 minutes. But in those 9 minutes, he's 2 for 3 from the field, 3 rebounds. That's productive in 9 minutes. So I see why Painter likes him.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get the numbers crunched. Though,
I am too. You know, right now they're a 10-man rotation.
Hyde or Heidi?
Heidi. Camden Heidi. Yeah, I struggle with that too. So
yeah, Heidi and Coleman, like you said, you're not.
They're too athletic not to play, but
and then Lance Jones is like what we said, he's going to be perfect. He's going to take up all the guard minutes. Morton still needs minutes. There's just
it's a great problem to have, but somebody's got to get lost in the mix. Unfortunately, it just is what it is. Going forward, Purdue does have a game tomorrow night against Morehead State. The Eagles, they're 0-1. Only game that's not televised. Well, it is if you want to pay for the Big Ten Plus.
Nope.
It's not. It's a crap product.
You say that now, and then in about 12 hours, I feel like we're going to get a text that I broke down.
I will be putting it on and listening to Bobby Riddell and Rob Black.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. Yeah,
that's a good idea.
But then Monday night, 8:30, it's the Gavitt Games hosting Andrew's favorite team, the Xavier Musketeers, who I don't know much about them this year. They're usually a pretty solid program.
They've suffered their front court.
Sean's back there, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
My God.
But they lost the kid who went to IU and he's still somehow playing college. Jerome, or is it Hunter? What's his name?
Jerome Hunter.
Yeah, Jerome Hunter.
He's still in college?
Yes, he's still in college. I'm pretty sure he played 4 years at both IU and Xavier. He got hurt in the offseason.
Hey, they have a Nunji on the team too.
It's Jack Nunji. Is it still him? Yeah, from Iowa.
They call him Bob Nunji on here.
Oh, maybe his name.
Maybe is it a brother? Because I know that they've lost two front court. Yeah. They've lost 2 front court guys. That's really made it probably make it difficult for them. But I mean, it's Sean Miller team. Obviously, Sean Miller team is usually pretty tough. And it's a Big East team. So
last year the Gavitt Games. So it kind of sucks. But
I really hope we were going to get UConn, but whatever.
I want, and maybe they still do it in the future. I want to see Purdue and Butler play a true home and home.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes sense. The same thing with Notre Dame. Play home and home. And with Shrewsbury, maybe that happens now in the future. There's probably a better chance because Digger Phelps didn't know his way to West Lafayette from South Bend. There was no road, as he said, which there isn't a great way, but there's ways. But no, looking forward to the next 2 games. That's Purdue's only game next week, and then they get the week off. Then, of course, get 3 at Maui the next week, which we know will be against Gonzaga. And then either Syracuse or Tennessee. Please, God, let it be Syracuse on a win. And then could be a mix of Marquette, UCLA, Kansas. I can't think of who else is out there, but
Chaminade.
Hopefully it's not them or something went wrong. So yeah, a lot of good matchups coming up for the Boilers, as we'll say repeatedly the rest of the season. But
it's gonna be tough.
Excited to be talking not only Boiler football but especially Boiler basketball now. It's always fun the time of year where we get the crossover going. Before you leave, Andrew, I want your prediction for Saturday's football game. In MVP.
I think it's going to be a race to like 17 points.
That's the Big Ten West in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah.
The over-under is 47.5.
Hey, that's 20 points higher than over-under for Rutgers, Iowa.
I know.
That's the lowest I've ever seen.
Northwestern.
We said that like 3 times this year.
Bastards are still winning the West.
Actually, the Purdue-Minnesota game is the highest point total in the Big Ten this week.
Wow.
Michigan State and Ohio State is also 47.
That's Ohio State itself.
Yeah. Yeah, they're favored by 31. I don't know. I was encouraged by the defense, so I think Purdue wins like 17-14.
I like it. Any MVP? Well,
Nick
based on your
Gordon.
spicy bowl prediction, yeah, that'd be pretty hard. I think we lost Evan. I think Evans froze on my end. Is he froze on your end? Okay, I think he's having some connection issues. So hopefully he'll be back in a minute. But I'll go ahead and throw my prediction. I think Purdue does win this one. I'm staying optimistic. I think it'll be tight. You said 17-14. I think somehow Purdue scores 24, wins 24-20.
That'd be
24-20. It'd be nice. It'd be nice. I want to see a little creativity.
What was the joke? I know we can't talk about Brian Ferentz anymore because he's not coming back, but they're averaging like 12 points a game or something like that, which is like third in the Big Ten West or something.
Right.
It was something stupid. Like none of the Big Ten West teams would meet that 25-point average.
Sorry, I'm replying to Evan.
No problem.
He didn't know we lost him on he asked if we lost him, and I had reassurance from a couple friends that yes, he is. Yeah. He froze not only on our end because last week I don't know if you caught any of the podcast. We both. I even took myself out because I thought it was on my end, and it was on Evan's end. So gotta love technology. Gotta love the Wi-Fi sometimes. So
yeah, I can stick around until Evan comes back if you're going to keep going on some games.
Okay. Yeah, let's look at some. Let's talk some Big Ten football real quick. Not the greatest slate of games, but there are games. The big one though, this one is big. There's Evans back. Number 3, Michigan at number 10, Penn State, and Michigan's a 4.5-point favorite.
I think Michigan covers that.
Webby, any score prediction or not score prediction? Winner prediction for Michigan, Penn State?
I think Michigan, unfortunately.
I'll go Penn State. I've been high on Penn State, but every time I do that, James Franklin lets me down in a big game. And if he does it this time, then never picking them in a big game again.
Is there a quarterback? Ayler? Is that their quarterback?
Yeah.
Drew Aller. He played really well last week against Maryland, but Maryland's in a nosedive of all nosedives right now.
He had some bad games before that. He's been kind of like against Ohio State. He played pretty bad, didn't he? But also,
yeah, they've lost 4 straight, and now they are 2-point favorites though on this week on the road at Nebraska. Who 2-5-4 teams. Nebraska turns over more than anybody in freaking country. Not really, but they turn over a lot. But I am going Nebraska in this one.
I think
I think so.
As home team.
Yeah, they get bowl eligible, unfortunately. Indiana.
I don't care about them as much anymore. Not without
Matt Rule's not as unlikable as Frost.
No.
Indiana somehow beat Wisconsin, something we can't do.
3-6. When their starting quarterback and running back are out.
You're right, but still, we probably would have struggled.
Yeah. We've seen
Wisconsin third-string running backs go for 200 yards.
Yep, plug and place. 3-6 at 4-5 Illinois, and Illinois is a 6.5-point favorite.
Please, Illinois.
You don't want Indiana coming in Rossi with 5 wins?
No, not at all. Don't need that.
As much as I want to pay, I don't know. I haven't watched Illinois since Purdue absolutely dominated.
Forced them.
Yeah, they're a week-to-week team.
Yeah, they really are.
But also their quarterback looked so bad against Purdue, just missing wide open. That's what I have stuck in my head. That's like, how do they score at all?
Well, they won the other day because the quarterback got hurt. Backup came in who was a scholarship quarterback somewhere and transferred to Illinois to be a walk-on because this finishes last year because his whole family had played there pretty much. He completed a 4th down conversion, another pass, then hit the game-winning pass. You couldn't script it.
All right,
you sold me. Illinois covers.
I think Illinois wins, but Indiana covers the spread. I think it's a tight one. A couple more here. Rutgers at Iowa. Iowa 1-point favorite. Like we said, over-under is only 28.5 on this bad boy.
I guess Iowa. I don't want to take
Iowa in a close one.
12-10.
They do what they do better than anybody in the country. Boring, good defense, good special teams. Northwestern is a 10-point dog at Wisconsin. Northwestern's 4-5. Wisconsin's 5-4.
I think Wisconsin covers.
I do too, even though they're banged up.
Never mind. I don't think they cover that. I think they win, but they don't cover that.
Well, I think they covered on the nose.
Now they were like what were they favored last week against IU?
9, I believe.
Yeah, 9.5 or something.
Yep.
9.
Yep. And then the night game on NBC, 3-6 Michigan State, who's still fighting for bowl eligibility somehow. At number 1, 9-0 Ohio State, who's a 31.5-point favorite.
I'll say rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except, I mean, like I said, Michigan State shocked me last week against Nebraska. I didn't think they were going to win a game the rest of the year, but it is pretty frustrating that that we are the only team out of bowl consideration right now in the Big Ten. And our buddy Jeffrey Brahms is behind 20-14 right now, almost
Whoa.
into the third quarter.
Wasn't it 14-0?
It was 14-0.
Oh.
Wow.
Virginia has outscored them 14-0 in the third quarter. They must have scored one late in the second. Oh, no, they must have just taken a – oh, no, it's pending confirmation. Pending
it's
confirmation
14.
that Virginia scored. So
It shows 14-14 for me.
it says 2014 pending confirmation of a touchdown.
Either
But it says second and
ESPN
27, so
either
maybe
ESPN wiped it off or
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, either way, that's a game there. Not a lot of top 25 matchups this week. We'll just go over the ones that are against each other. Number 13, Tennessee is at number 14, Missouri. And Tennessee's a 2-point favorite on the road.
I think Missouri's out of someone important. Give me Missouri.
I will take Missouri as well. And Andrew had to step away, but we're thrilled he got to join us tonight. Yes, I will take Missouri as well, just because I do not like Tennessee. So yeah, that is that. I'm trying to get our there we go. I got everything how I want it now. Other ranked opponents against each other. Number 18, Utah, 7-2 at number 5, 9-0 Washington, future member of the Big Ten. Washington's 9.5-point favorites.
Where is it? I just lost. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Washington. I mean, this will be a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to go with this home team, Washington.
I'm going with Penix and DeBoer.
Yeah.
A few more games here. Number 9, Ole Miss, who's 8-1 at number 2, 9-0, two-time defending champion Georgia, who is a 10.5-point favorite.
Oh, Lane's in a little bit of hot water with some things he said.
He is, but at first when I read, I'm like, "Ooh, that's probably not good." But then I kind of looked it up, and I'm like, even though it's harsh, he isn't saying anything that's not correct.
I just saw a headline and
I mean, basically, the coaches tried to reach out to this kid for 2 weeks, and he never responded.
Mm-hmm.
So even though mental health issues is very serious, if anybody ever needs to step away from the team, they got guidelines for that, but you're still supposed to report back to your coaches and stuff. And this kid pretty much wasn't doing it. So he was pretty much telling the kid, technically by the rules, we could kick you off the team.
Right.
That's pretty much, but he probably could have went about it better. And still, I don't know how that got recorded.
Yeah.
But I'm taking
regardless. I think Georgia. I think
We'll do 2 more games here. Really good matchup usually in basketball. 6-3 Duke at 7-2, number 24 North Carolina, who is a 14.5-point favorite.
Give me the Tar Heels.
I think North Carolina wins, but Duke covers. I think that's a pretty good game. And lastly, we're just doing this one because this is a future Big Ten matchup. 7-3 USC at number 6, 8-1 Oregon, who is a 15.5-point favorite. The spread on this one's 75.5. So compare that to the Iowa Rutgers game. It is completely different sports.
Give me the over and the Ducks win.
Yes, I think Bo Nix is right there.
Yeah,
for the Heisman, which is
I guess you go back to Andrew
never
saying
said that in Auburn.
Go back to our Heisman talk. I think Bo Nix is probably maybe the leader right now.
Yeah, I think so too, which just blows my mind because I never would have thought that when he was at Auburn. But I'm taking the Ducks as well. And if Caleb Williams breaks down again, I hope the cameras don't show him. That wasn't
right.
I mean, I don't know the situation, but and speaking of, I'm proud of you for being on the podcast tonight instead of watching your Bears.
I'm gonna be honest. Until like 7:00, I forgot they played tonight.
Well, it's them again. They are down 1 point right now, 10-9, 10 minutes 29 seconds left in the third quarter. So the Panthers earlier ran a pump back for a touchdown.
I mean, it's kind of like a win-win,
Yeah.
lose-lose because it's
Draft picks all over the place.
Yeah, the winner, you win. I mean, it's really just a win-win. Because if you win, you get a win, and then you make your Carolina Panthers pick better, and if you lose, then your own pick gets better. So
right now, they have the second and third pick. If the draft started today, the Cardinals would have number one. Cardinals would probably take Caleb Williams, but the Bears could either get Drake May, or if they wanted to roll Justin Fields, if I'm the Bears, I think Marvin Harrison Jr., and then maybe it would be high for a tight end, but maybe Brock Bowers of Georgia and line those guys up with DJ Moore. All of a sudden, you got a pretty explosive offense.
Yep.
So that's how you.
I like it.
Let's turn around, and they're not managed by the same guys who manage the White Sox, or the Bulls.
Oh my
god. We were down a rabbit hole.
We are like the White Sox, and then you throw in the fact the Cubs just pulled off a massive heist. I mean, granted, I guess he technically was a free agent manager, but you see that, and then you see what the White Sox do. It's just you're in the same city.
It doesn't feel like it at times.
No. Oh, no. God, they're awful. Yep. Then we lose Jason Benetti, which is probably the real tragedy of the whole
sucks.
thing.
And he goes to the division rival.
He goes to Detroit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's good at what he does. That's too bad. So,
I'm just sad.
We're getting some more. Thad Mooney. I didn't know I showed this, but I forgot to read it. He said score should stand for Virginia. Dude got hit so hard, and they're bringing the stretcher and cart out before the review. That's always scary, never good. So hope that guy's okay, because that's never good at all. But something that is always good is Mad Mushroom.
Hell yeah.
The Boiler Breakdown is brought to you by Mad Mushroom. They've been serving Boilermakers since 1993, located in the heart of West Lafayette, and they're well known as the home of the original cheese sticks. Whenever Andrew, Evan, or myself visit, we like to sit down and have an ice cold beer while trying out their latest pizza of the month, which for November, fitting since Thanksgiving's coming up in a couple of weeks, is Tristan's Thanksgiving Feast. It's turkey gravy topped with corn, savory stuffing, hickory smoked turkey, and mozzarella and cheddar cheeses, finished with some parsley, only for the price, starting at the price of $14. So order two of those bad boys. You're already over the $20 mark, which is all you got to be over. And if you let them know the Boiler Breakdown sent you, you get $5 off your order over $20. Or if you order online, you can do that at madmushroom.com. Use discount code BREAK5. That's in all caps, BREAK5, to claim your discount that way. Get some pizza, get some wings, get some grinders, get some pasta. Of course, get some cheese sticks. Got to get some cheese sticks. And let them know the Boiler Breakdown sent you. That's Mad Mushroom. Feed your head. Evan's got a great looking sweatshirt, like he has multiple times on this podcast. I got a good looking hat. We both got these from our other sponsor, which is the shop, and I'm going to let Evan tell you a little more about that.
We got the shop. We're happy to have them on again for the third year, I think is what we've said.
Yes, third year.
Yeah, third year, which is awesome. Love having them on. They've been bringing sports and hometown apparel to the fans since 2011. Started in their garage, basement. They can now find them at, they've got 2 brick and mortar locations, one in Carmel, one in Indianapolis. Plus, they've got an online store. They make comfortable shirts, they make comfortable sweatshirts. Makes everybody happy. If you go to theshopindy.com and use promo code BREAKDOWN, you get 25% off. It's Christmas time already. Hasn't been feeling like it for the last couple of days, but it's starting to kind of feel like a little bit more, at least here in Indiana, central Indiana. You got the Boilermaker knife, got the Hoosier, got the Bulldog, you got Tiger,
Cardinal,
Little Giant, Pacer fan, Colts fan, just state of Indiana fan,
Indy 500,
Indy 11,
Reds, even right? Reds.
They've got some pretty cool red stuff. They got some, if you want to celebrate the Bobby Knight and whoever he was as a human, you can do that too. Promo code BREAKDOWN, get 20% off your order.
Yeah, you will not regret that at all. So, any final thoughts, Webby? As Thad Mooney said, trainers were running to the player before the play was over.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Yeah, he sent me a video. I'm not going to show it on here for multiple reasons, but not good.
Final thoughts. Hopefully, as down as football is right now, you hope you can I think if we can get 2 of these last 3,
What's your score prediction? I'm sorry, Andrew and I did that while you lost connection. Andrew went 17-14 Purdue. I went 24-20 Purdue, just to let you know.
I was going to say 24-17 Purdue.
I like it.
If we can get 2 of the last 3, I'll be especially if one of us is the bucket game.
Yeah.
I'll be feeling better. Obviously, the offense is what it is at this point, but as long as we kind of can see continual improvement with the defense, I'm happy. But really excited for basketball. Felt really good to be back in Mackey, and I just hope this team can keep that edge, keep that chip on their shoulder. Because I kind of get I've been listening to a couple podcasts, Neil Goodman and Hummel. I listened to a big fan of Tate Frazier and his One Shining podcast, and they were kind of talking about they've been talking about Purdue and Matt Painter and eating all that, and they're kind of the media's giving them a lot of love, which we have been, a lot of guys at CBS. Everybody at CBS had us in the Final Four, if not winning it, if not runner up. But they're, I've seen a lot of people hey, they got to prove it. Not sure why they're getting all the love, blah, 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 which I'm I can't get mad at, but at the same time, I'm that's fine. If you keep doubting them, we hear stories about Braden Smith getting pissed off because he saw some random Twitter graphic that had the best point guards in college basketball. He wasn't on it, but apparently really pissed him off, which if that makes him play better, I'm all for it. Whatever it takes to make this team play with an edge, keep doubting them, and hopefully it turns into something pretty special.
I agree, man. It's good time to be a Boilermaker, like always, even if this football season's not gone the way we want. There's still 3 games. Get out, support the guys, support the coaching staff. It should be a nice day in West Lafayette on Saturday for November 11th. I think the weather's about as good as you can ask for. So, So let's boiler up, hammer down, beat the Golden Gophers, or beat the Eagles tomorrow, beat the Golden Gophers on Saturday, and beat the Musketeers on Monday.
Boiler up.